Hi, I'm Courtney, a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Australia, and I'm going to show you my take on the black ice technique. You'll see here I've got a little piece of the gold foil. It's 7.5 by 7.5. I've popped some archival ink over it, and I'm rubbing it off with a baby wipe. Now, I actually stumbled across this by accident. If you rub with the baby wipe, wherever the ink is actually wet, it will not only take the ink off, it also takes off some of the foil. So you'll notice that I'm starting to get a bit of a silver coming through as well. That's actually why I'm adding some more ink, and I keep adding ink just so that I can get that variation. It's just another take on it. It looks good. The ink where it is actually dry doesn't come off. Once it's dry, it's dry. And we're just going to keep going. And then once you come to a piece that you like, ink up your stamp. This one's actually Heartfelt Blooms from the celebration in 2018. And it's actually a really pretty stamp. I have to press it down really hard. It does stick a little bit, and you can just see it there. It gives a really nice impression. I'm hoping there's some more stamps similar to this one in the new catalogue when it comes up. Now, it's really important to dry it. If you've got some patience and you're not doing video and you would like to wait, overnight is really good, but you really need that archival ink to be dry. Now, taking your Versamark and using it to drag it down your piece of cardstock, down and up, both directions makes it look good. You can actually turn the piece of foil if you like, but I just had it stuck down fast. So pop some embossing powder over the top. This is clear. All of my embossing powders are in containers like this one, just to make it easy, being really careful not to touch it too much. Pop it back down on your square. I've just used a piece of note paper just to push it down so that it sticks, so that I don't blow it away with my heat gun. Okay, look at it. How good does it look when it's getting all shiny? And up it comes. Okay, it did roll a little bit. You will notice that the foil does that, and it's very easy to flatten it back out. Okay, now I like to daub around the edges of some of my cards, especially when I'm only making one or two of them. I like that it ages them a little bit, and I just think it looks good. Okay, and this makes it look really fast. Okay, with the sentiment, a lot of sentiments will fit on this piece. Again, I've just used that sticky piece that I've put there smack bang in the middle of my page, and I'm going to actually emboss it. You can emboss in any colour. If you use your Versamark first, any colour ink you like, and make sure you hold your tongue right when you put your sentiment on. Bingo. And then pop some clear ink over clear embossing powder over the top, and that'll give you a nice shiny black. I've just used a piece of our chipboard that comes from the back of our glimmer paper and our foils, just so that it stops my fingers getting burnt. Looks good, doesn't it? Okay, let's pop it together. Okay. And again, you've got to hold your tongue in the right position to do this, just so that everything's nice and straight. That little piece of sticky tape is going to get in my way. All right, just pop. I'm going to mount the sentiment on another piece of black. And there's the black. Okay. So we'll just use some dimensionals to mount the sentiment. And I'm actually going to tie some of our fine thread, our gold thread, around it. You'll notice mine's actually got it's very springy stuff. It's got some of that elastic that holds cotton for embroidery, on embroidery spools on it, just to hold it nice and still. So it's really fine, and it's really fiddly to tie bows with. But it works, and it looks good. Snip it down, trim it down. I'm not entirely happy with it. I will tweak it. And there you go. How's that looking, Smick? Except that bow. So we'll just fix it. It is actually easier to fix it before you stick it down, but I'd already stuck it down, so this one was getting fixed afterwards. I do love this thread. I love any fibre. The majority of my cards will have some sort of fibre on them, you'll notice. If you've seen anything else on my blog, that just about all of them have ribbon, trim, something. Play with the bow, make it look pretty good, make it look nice. Okay, I'm just popping some dimensionals onto my feature piece so that that can pop up a little bit on that its black background. Just it gives a little bit more dimension, it gives a little bit more height and a bit more shadow, which I think looks better. Okay, it's just a small frame that we're putting around it today. And voila, there she is, all done. So, what do you think? Doesn't the envelope look great? Now let me show you with Lovely as a Tree. This one I think is going to be around for a while. I do love this stamp set. I don't think it's going anywhere, and it's great. I'm doing the same thing, rubbing with the baby wipe. Every single piece of foil that I've done has turned out different. I guess just because of where you put the ink. I do have that notepad piece of paper there, and I'm using that to hold it down every now and then just so I don't put my fingers on it. This time I thought I'm just going to stamp a few trees. You'll notice up in the top corner there's actually one of the other trees. It's one I prepared earlier. Just thought I'd have a play. And again, I'm going to dry it with the heat gun. Okay, there she is. Our heat gun's good. This is one of the older style heat guns. It's only got on or off. Our new heat gun's actually got 2 buttons. It's got a drying feature as well as the heating feature for embossing so that your paper won't curl as much. And just flatten it out a bit. All right, there you go. Okay, and now to put some Versamark on it. Okay, it's that dragging sensation that gives you the effect that we're all looking for. Although I just seem to be covering it completely in Versamark because I do like it. Okay, back into my embossing powder pot. Okay, shake off any of the excess. Let's pop it back down. Again, put the piece of paper over it, rub it back down so it sticks to that little piece of sticky in the middle, and warm her up. Once your heat gun's warm, everything melts really fast. There's a lot of wow when it comes to embossing. I'm still, after all these years, still impressed with it. Okay, it's a bit bouncy. It still wants to bounce. Just flatten it out a bit whilst it cools down. Don't they look great? Let's turn them into some cards. There's a nice close-up of that one. I actually turn these ones into sympathy cards. How's that? And one must not forget the inside or the envelope, and this is this one's. And this is all 3 that I made. A couple of sympathy cards and a thank you card. These are actually for my stash this time. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Hooroo!